So what we want to do, we want to go and look for properties that are worth £100,000. Okay? So at that point, you're not just a property millionaire, you're also a property millionaire with a portfolio that generates you £36,000. Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development, and how to gain financial freedom. In this video, I'm going to share with you how you could use your council home to become a property millionaire. You see, there's so many people that sit in their council houses without realizing that there's a massive opportunity for them to use that council house to get them to financially free. So you see, when you own a council house in England, in most cases, if you live in the council house for over 5 years, you have the right to buy the council house. So this is where lots of people are a bit reluctant to take the advantage, and there are some people that, believe me, that are not aware that they are allowed to buy their council house if they've lived in it for over 5 years consistently. This doesn't apply to maybe housing association properties or perhaps someone who's changed tenancies or swapped houses. So if you swap the houses, somehow you've lost your 5 years. Okay, so if you haven't swapped your house and you've lived in your council house for a very long time, or you know someone, a family member, a friend, or someone somewhere that you know that have lived in a council house for over 5 years, this video is for you. If you want to learn how you can use that council house to start your property investment journey and to scale it to a multi-million-pound property investment portfolio, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through step by step on an example of a property that is a council house. I'm going to walk you through the calculations on how you can take advantage of using your council house in order to start your property investment journey. So the first thing we need to do first is to determine with the council how long you've lived in the property. If you don't know how long you've lived there, if you do not know this, all you need to do basically is to dial that number, ring your council, find out when your tenancy starts, and they would advise you how long ago you've lived in that property. So if you've lived in that property, assuming you've lived in there for over 5 years, you would go to the government website and search for rights to buy. So with right to buy, it gives you all the advices on how you can take advantage of it, and it redirects you to the council where you've got your council house on or under. So from that, then you can follow the application process in order for you to start buying the properties. But the key things to note here, in order for you to buy the property, you should have lived in the property for over 5 years. And the beauty of buying council houses also, there's a massive discount. So I think the discount is somewhere between 30 to 60% discount if you have lived in the property. The longer you live in the property, the more discount you get actually by living in that property. So if you haven't thought about it, I'm hoping that these examples I'm going to go through with you will motivate you or inspire you to literally go knocking doors in your council to find out how you can buy the property. So let's get to the board so I can walk you through the process on how you could use a council house to become a millionaire. Let's get to it. Let's now assume you live in London in a 2-bedroom house, and that house in today's market, it worth £250,000. So your fair market value for your current home is £250,000. Assuming that you've lived in the property for over 5 years, you automatically got the right to buy that property. So in most councils, they would give you 40% discount. In essence, you can get 40% discount from this amount here in order to buy the property. So 40% discount, meaning you only need 60% of the £250,000. So your discount of 40, that means you're getting the property at 60%, and 60% of 250 is £150,000. So what would happen once you've agreed the discount with the council, which is the 40% discount here, right? You would approach a lender. You would approach the lender and say, I've got this property, I've lived in it for X amount of years, a council house, and I want to buy it. Right? So what the bank will do, basically, they'll go and revalue the property. Assuming that property come back at £150,000, the bank will not require you to put down a deposit. They'll require you, basically, they will lend you the £150,000, meaning you don't have to put any deposit down. So that £150,000 become your mortgage. Yeah? Your mortgage become £150,000. So that's what the bank will lend you. Obviously, with your mortgage, you're going to pay your interest and all that sort of thing to get that going if you're doing a repayment, and obviously that would also be paid along the way as well. Assuming that you've been in that property, you're on that mortgage for 5 years and you're on your 6th year and you're doing a repayment alongside your interest payment on the mortgage. Let's assume you pay about an additional £200 every single month in the past 6 years. So that would be a repayment of 14,400. So meaning you would have paid towards the loan here, you would have paid 14,400 towards that loan. That then get your net mortgage to be, the outstanding mortgage would be 135,600. Because you've paying down your mortgage alongside your interest, that would be your outstanding mortgage. So your outstanding mortgage would be £135,000. You may be thinking, why 6 years or why 5 years? You see, if you buy a council house, you're not allowed to rent it, and it is mandatory for you to live in the property for the next 5 years. So hence the reason, once you buy the property, you want to sit on it for another 5 to 6 years. That the benefit you get from that is your £150,000 mortgage would be going down, because you would have paid towards buying the property, reducing that to £135,000. And the beauty of that, because now you own the property, the value of the property would have gone up. Let's say now fast forward is 6 years from the day we take this property out, assuming that because council houses doesn't go up in value as any other property. Let's assume your council house value went up by 5% in the past 5 years. Assuming that it go up by 5% every single year, the same property now would have worth 319,000. I'm just rounding the figures here, right? So that same property you bought for £250,000 for 150k would have now worth 319,000. Assuming that things are going well with you and you are in a good job and you are doing really well for yourself, you can go then and remortgage this property, and that's where the magic starts to happen. So you remortgage that property. At this point, the bank will lend you 75%. You will have a loan to value, a loan of 75%. Because now you own the property, the bank will lend you 75% of the new value. So 75% of the new value is £240,000. Again, I'm rounding these figures up. Okay, so £240,000 is what the bank will lend you. So because you are very clever at this point, obviously you've got your existing loan to pay, which was the £135,000, which was the 150,000 minus the 14,400. And then that gives you to the £135,000. I hope that is making sense. So what you now want to do, basically you need to repay that money. You repay that money in order to go into this product. You know that you owe £135,000. So you do £135,000 minus from the mortgage the bank would have lent you. So what would have happened at this point, this £135,000 will be deducted from the £140,000 at the point of exchange. That then gives you a leftover of about maybe £103,000. So now you've got the 75% loan here. You've got your £135,000 that you need to pay back to existing lender. That then leaves you with £103,000. So what you now need to, that money, that £103,000, get paid to your account. So basically, that's the benefit of one, owning a house. Secondly, buying a house from the council, assuming that property prices went up only by 5%, not 10%. So once you've got this money, this is where the magic then happens. Okay, you've got £100,000. So if you have educated yourself in properties, or you know what you're doing, you can use this £100,000 effectively. So what do you use this £100,000? You're going to look around the UK where houses are under £100,000. So you go on and buy houses at £100,000. Let's see how many houses will this get you and how you can replicate this to build your property portfolio. So now we know we've got £103,000. So what we want to do, we want to go and look for properties that worth £100,000. Okay? So if we're going to get properties that worth £100,000, with our £103,000, we're able to buy 4 properties. 4 properties, meaning 25% we need to put down, okay? 25% for each of these purchases. That then gives us the £25,000. So £25,000 obviously times 4, that then gives us our £100,000 here. So we can go then and buy these 4 properties, assuming that even we're not going to do anything to this property, we're just buying them and renting them out straight away. So now we've got 4 properties, okay? Yeah, assuming that each property generates us £300, £300, £300, £300, okay? So that then will generate us £1,200 net profit. I'm talking about profit here, net profit per month every single month. That's what that gets you from the £103,000 you would have already gained from getting the council house in the first place. So if you times that by 12, you're talking about 14,400 every single month from these 4 properties you would have bought using the equity you would have got from your council house. Suppose then you hold on to this property for the next few years, and then each of these properties goes up in value, and each property then worth £150,000. So if you've got those properties at £150,000 each, you times that by 4 properties, you're talking about £600,000 portfolio. So out of that £600,000 portfolio, so what you don't want to do at that point, you've got £600,000, is to go and remortgage the properties again. Remember what you did with your council house? You're going to remortgage these properties, and again, the loan, the bank will lend you 75% of that portfolio. So obviously 75% of £600,000 is £450,000. So again, you can see you're repeating the process at this point. So now you knew your previous portfolio was £100,000, £100,000, £100,000, £100,000, and the bank would have lent you 75% of those £100,000. Is that making sense? So your repayment then for those would be £300,000. Okay, so £300,000 take away your new loan to value. That then leaves you with how much? £150,000. So you've got £150,000 plus you still have the 4 properties. Now we've got the £150,000. With £150,000, we go again look for £100,000 property. So we know at £100,000 property, we only need to put £25,000 down, which is the deposit. So if you times that by 6 properties, that then gives you how much? The £150,000. So at that point, you've got 4 properties that you've initially bought, plus this 6 property that gives you how much properties? 10 properties. Assuming then all these 10 properties here generate you again minimum £300 a month. So if you times that by 10, that gives you how much? £3,000 every single month for owning these 10 properties. So if you times that by 12, you're talking about £36,000 per annum. So at that point, you're not just a property millionaire, you're also a property millionaire with a portfolio that generates you £36,000. So you may be asking, how did you become a property millionaire then? So you know you've got your other properties that you've already bought that was valued at £150,000. How many did we buy at the first time? We bought 4 properties. So 150 times 4 is £600,000. Obviously, you've just bought 6 more properties using the £150,000 at £100,000. So 100,000 times 6 properties, that gives you how much? £600,000. So if you add this £600,000 with that £600,000, you're talking about £1,200,000 plus earning £36,000 a year without lifting a finger. This is what you could do to get you from the rat race, to get you from living in a council house to building a multi-million pound property investment portfolio. And believe me, you can do this within 7 years. So all you would need to do basically is to take that leap of faith, to approach your council, to find out how you can use their property to get you to become financially free. Obviously, there are a caveat onto this. By first, you need to be living in the property for 5 years and obviously taking a mortgage. You're responsible to literally look after the whole flat. The council is not looking after it, or the house anymore. You're looking after it yourself, and obviously have to pay your building insurance and all that stuff. But the return you get from doing this is really, really beneficial. But before you even get to do this, basically, this is the benefit of starting your investment journey from your council house, which will eventually take you to becoming a millionaire who owns 1.2 million pound property portfolio that generates 36,000 pounds a year passively without actively getting involved. As I said, things like this come with caveat. Obviously, number one thing, basically, the first 5 years you'd have to stay in the property in order for you to be able to do this. And then after those 5-6 years, you can obviously remortgage the property as a buy-to-let or however way you want to do it. And then obviously then you'll be able to pull that money. Remember the 103,000 pounds that then allow you to start buying your own properties. And obviously it takes responsibility and commitment and consistency to do what I've just explained to you here on this board. So you see, doing this thing is one of the things that would really, really get you to financial freedom and ultimate financial independence. I really hope this video has been helpful. And if you want to learn how to implement strategies like this, someone who can guide you through the process, you can book one of my teams, my specialist team, for absolutely free of charge. You can book them in for a 30-minute consultation. They can walk you through how you can get to start and scale in property, perhaps how you can use this strategy to get you a little closer to financial freedom. If you're interested, click the link below to book your one-to-one session with one of my specialists. I look forward to sharing the next video. Thank you.